Hey guys, welcome back to the channel. So today we are doing a setup for a bridal shower. It was like a royal theme, but like all purple, shades of purple kind of theme. I was working with an event planner for this setup. So last minute we end up using one of my arch walls, the 6 foot one, as you see. I'm not the biggest fan of this one. I should have never really, for many reasons, but the main one is I should have never had it folded in half. Even though it is convenient for like transportation, aesthetically, I just don't like that you can see that it's folded in half. And we also use my pipe and drape today, but the client has her own drapes, so she just needed the stand. So that's pretty much it. Let's get started. Let's jump into this video. So the colors that we use, well, the colors that I use today, that is spring lilac, and I double stuffed it. I put a black in the inside. We have Blossom by Tuftex with spring lilac in the inside. This is Reflex Gold by Sempertex. And right now I'm just building the first half of the garland on the left side. I'm using neck to neck to build these. And I'm doing one cluster at a time, and these clusters is of 6 balloons, and I'm doing one instead of 2 clusters just because it's a smaller setup, so I don't mind doing one at a time. If it was like a really large setup, I would opt for doing 2. It all depends on how I feel too as well. But now I'm using those 5-inch mini garlands, so I only had the mirror violet gold and that's by Kalisan. I only had that in the 5 inches, so I decided to put the 5 inches. I wanted to mix it in with the actual body of the garland, just to do something different. It's balloons, and you can make so many different shapes. You can play with your style and find your style, and I wanted to try it out. I really love the the mini garlands or the 5-inch garlands, whatever you want to call them. So I wanted to actually put them in like the body of the setup and not just detailed at the end somewhere. So that's what I'm doing here, and I'm continuing to build the clusters. Stay to the end of the video, because I do want to show you guys how just reshaping a cluster can make a big difference on your garland. So now that I partially have the body done, I'm going in and adding those clusters in on the side, because I'm going to extend it out, and I wanted to make it like kind of floating down. So I'm adding in those clusters, and when I add that golden, I tied it to the one at the bottom and the one to the right of it. And now I'm just still filling and adding another cluster and making sure you're shaping the balloons as you go and stepping back. Something I didn't do, well, I was stepping back a lot, but I feel like I wasn't processing as much. I should have just been focused on, and when it's a lot going on, you be like focusing on other things. So I gotta just be conscious of stepping back and just focus on what I'm doing only. So something to remember in the future. And right now I'm just adding on that last cluster and adding on the 5-inch mini garland look like the breast cancer sign. Do you guys think? I think it looked like the little sign. So this is how it looks so far. And this is pretty much the body completed. I'm going to start working on the other side. And as you see, I was stepping back. And I didn't like that last cluster at the top. And I'll talk to you guys at the end of the video about why. But now I'm going to start working on the right side of the garland that the right side of the wall that I'll be doing. This one would just be like a smaller garland piece, which I absolutely loved at the end. It was really, really pretty. And I'm taking those clusters and I'm making sure, and I just use cluster 6 for everything. For this setup, I didn't have any clusters or 8 or 12 balloons. Everything was pretty much clusters of 6 balloons. And I'm tying that neck directly to the, and the other color was spring lilac, inside pearl white, so just to give it a little glam. And I tied that gold neck to the other one, so everything was tied neck to neck. I did use 260s on, only time I used 260 was to tie the cluster to the backdrop, which I use my clear adhesive hooks because it is my backdrop. I already have them on there, which is pretty much going to stay on there. I'm not taking them off, so it's easy for me to use them when I'm doing a setup. So they are already on the back of my backdrop, and then I just use those to attach the balloons to. And I'm just tying that 5-inch mini garland to another cluster. So I like to tie it at different clusters, and I like to make sure I have I like to tie it at different clusters, mainly because I like for it to pull in different areas, so it can really I guess create a shape that I like. So now that I have that top piece on, I'm going to be adding this piece on the stand just to make it come out a little bit, a little detail piece on here to extend it out. And I didn't like that the left side garland was pretty much straight in the inside. The balloons was like just going straight down, so I wanted to like curve it out and break up that straight line a little bit. So I'm going to be adding another one, especially because I had extra not extra because I ended up using them, but I had a lot more that I could play around with. So I was like, why not just add some right here instead of putting a large cluster, which really makes it look a little different. It would change the shape entirely if I was to use a cluster there. So using this instead really, you know, gave it, you know, detailed as well as a nice shape at the same time. So it kind of broke up that straight line, trying to avoid those straight lines as much as I can in my setups now. And now I'm just going to fill in the back here. And when I'm adding this cluster on, I'm not trying to make the cluster sit right on top of another cluster. I'm only going to show a little bit of this cluster. So as you see, you don't see the other balloons. And that really is the trick. You don't want to have the balloons sitting right. Sometimes you just need the other balloons to peek through. Where this one, you really only see the large balloons. You don't see the other ones. They kind of in the background. So that's how when you start adding those extra clusters on, to avoid it to look like bulky and, you know, as much as you can, you want to just have them kind of just see peeking through in the back and not just sitting right on top of another cluster. And now I'm just adding in this 5-inch garland at the top, and I will be adding more there later because I wanted to fill it in. It was like a little space there. And here I'm just going to start adding in those 5-inch balloons. And I am using clusters of 4 or cluster of 3 for the 5-inch balloons. And same thing for the gold. I know I usually do like the gold detail pieces. But I just wanted to do the regular 5-inch balloons. Nothing like crazy detail, nothing too much. So I just kept them with the mini cluster, the 5-inch clusters for the gold, and kept it really simple like that. So I'm going in to add a quad of gold just on the side. Even though it will be behind the chair, I still wanted to fill that in just a little bit. So I'm adding that there. And then I'm extending out, as I mentioned previously, that I wanted to fill in that little space there. So I'm extending that 5-inch garland, I guess, there just to, you know, fill in the space. And this is the final look, you guys. I love that right side really, really a lot. This is how everything turned out. I couldn't get a lot of content. It was like pretty busy, pretty packed, and it was hard to get like good content. But I got, videos that I can and a photo, and I'll just insert a photo how everything turned out. I absolutely love the right side. I love it all. I absolutely love the right side. It's just the whole shape of it. I love it. It warms me. So, and the event planner is really happy. Everyone's really happy. It looked really nice. And I wanted to compare it to. So this is what I did when I came back to drop it off because it was just bugging me. So as you see, that last cluster on the left side, as I mentioned before, how I didn't really like it that much. So as you can see the difference in how when I came back, all I did was reshape it. I kind of pushed the balloons more to the back, and then it gave the garland a more pointy look at the top versus these two balloons there. So now this is all style and preference. I prefer the pointy look. My sister, she was like, I like the two looks. So I guess it's all style. For me, I just like the pointy look, and I'm mad I didn't go back because I was there and I'm like, I don't really, and you know how you second guess yourself, and I should have just went and did it and changed it what I wanted to do, but sometimes time and trying to hurry up, it just doesn't always work out. So it still came out beautiful, and I appreciate that. So I am going to accept what I did and not bug myself about it. Please, you guys, subscribe to the video, like it. I hope you guys enjoy watching it. If you have any questions, please leave it in the comment box, and I see you in the next video. Bye.